Hey everyone, I'm working to hit 1,000 subscribers and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.
The St. Louis Cardinals are pulling out all the stops, and folks, this isn't your average offseason shuffle. We're talking about a full-blown reunion of baseball royalty, a potential game-changing pitch that could transform the team's ace, and, oh yeah, the Brewers just handed the Mets their best pitcher on a silver platter. Buckle up, Cardinals Nation, because this deep dive is about to get wild. Let me paint you a picture. It's spring training 2025, and you're walking through the Cardinals facility in Jupiter, Florida. You turn a corner, and there's Yadier Molina working with a young catcher. You grab some coffee, and Adam Wainwright is demonstrating his legendary curveball grip to a group of wide-eyed prospects. You head to the bullpen, and David Freese, the hero of 2011 himself, is giving hitting advice. This isn't fantasy, people. This is actually happening. The Cardinals organization is bringing back the legends, and they're doing it in a big way. We already knew about Yadi taking on his special assistant role to the president of baseball operations, working specifically with minor league catchers and developing an entire curriculum to mold the next generation of Cardinals backstops. That announcement alone sent shockwaves through the fan base. Yadier Molina, the greatest catcher in franchise history, the heartbeat of 2 World Series championships, directly shaping the future of Cardinals baseball. It's poetry in motion, and it's a role that seems almost tailor-made for a player whose baseball IQ is off the charts.
But here's where things get really interesting. The Cardinals aren't stopping with Yadi, not even close. Remember just a few years ago when articles were circulating about how the Cardinals had stopped inviting their legends to spring training? Remember when everyone was complaining about the team's vibes being absolutely terrible? Well, those dark days are over, my friends. The organization has clearly heard the criticism, and they're course-correcting in spectacular fashion. David Freese, the hometown hero who delivered one of the most magical postseason performances in baseball history during that unforgettable 2011 run, has been invited to spend time in uniform at spring training. And Adam Wainwright, Uncle Charlie himself, the ace who defined Cardinals' excellence for over a decade, is also expected to be there helping the young players. These aren't just ceremonial appearances or photo opportunities. These legends are rolling up their sleeves and getting involved in player development. But wait, there's more. According to Derek Gould's reporting, David Freese isn't just making a one-time appearance. He's had discussions with the front office about establishing a formal role potentially moving forward. Now, nothing is set in stone yet. Both sides need to figure out if that's what they want, and there hasn't been any official offer put on the table. But the fact that these conversations are happening tells you everything you need to know about where this organization is headed. They want their legends embedded in the fabric of this team's future. Think about what this means. The Cardinals already have Willie McGee, Jose Oquendo, and Stubby Clapp working with the organization. Those guys are absolute Cardinals legends in their own right, but they're not quite at the David Freese, Adam Wainwright, or Yadier Molina level in terms of recent impact and name recognition. By bringing back these more contemporary legends, the Cardinals are creating a bridge between their storied past and their uncertain future. They're reminding everyone what it means to be a Cardinal, what the standard is, what excellence looks like. This is what the Cardinals do better than almost anyone. They honor their past by making it relevant to their present. They bring back the greats and give them meaningful roles in shaping the next generation. Sure, the whole Cardinal way thing has taken some hits recently with the team's failures over the past few seasons, but this is how you rebuild that culture. You don't just talk about tradition, you literally bring the tradition makers back into the clubhouse. And let's be real, having Adam Wainwright around is just good for everyone's soul. The man is notoriously one of the best human beings in baseball, beloved by teammates and fans alike. His leadership, his knowledge of pitching, his ability to connect with younger players, it's invaluable. And David Freese, the humble hero from Maryland Heights who never let fame go to his head, he's been known to be extremely helpful wherever he goes, always willing to share his knowledge and experience. These are exactly the kinds of voices you want in your young players' ears. So yeah, as a Cardinals fan, you should be excited about this. You should be pumped that Yadi's got his formal role, that Freese and Wainwright are coming to spring training, and that Freese might end up with a permanent position. This can only be good for the organization. This is how you change culture. This is how you remind everyone what it means to wear the birds on the bat. Now, let's shift gears and talk about the present and future of the Cardinals rotation. Specifically, let's talk about Matthew Liberatore, the guy who's supposed to be the ace of this staff in 2025. Yeah, I said it, the ace. And before you start typing angry comments, hear me out, because there's actually some interesting stuff happening here. Libertore is turning 26 this year, which means he's just entering his prime. He's the guy the Cardinals traded Randy Arozarena for, which still stings for some fans, but let's focus on what we've got. Last season was decent for Libertore. Notice I didn't say spectacular or amazing, I said decent. It was acceptable.
He went 8-12 with a 4.21 ERA, struck out 122 batters in 151 innings pitched. His FIP was slightly better at 4.03, and his ERA plus was 97, which is basically league average.
Here's the thing, though. If Libertore was your fifth starter putting up those numbers, you'd be thrilled. You'd be talking about the upside, about what happens if he takes the next step. But instead, he and Erskine Lively are supposed to be leading this rotation, and that's where the concern comes in. You'd like to see more strikeouts from a guy you're hoping can develop into a true ace. 122 strikeouts in 151 innings isn't terrible, but it's not exactly lighting the world on fire either. Before the 2025 season, things were worse, much worse. Libertore appeared in 91 games with only 24 starts as the Cardinals did this bizarre back-and-forth thing with him between starting and relieving that probably wasn't great for his development. In those 91 appearances, he had a 4.99 ERA and an ERA plus of 84. So the 2025 season actually represented growth, which is something to build on. But his season was an absolute roller coaster ride. He started off excellent in the first couple months, and everyone was getting excited about him taking that next step. This was early in the season when the Cardinals were looking pretty good, and people were talking about this young team coming out of nowhere. Then summer hit, and Libertore crashed hard. His performance dipped significantly, and while I'm not saying his struggles caused the team to tank, he certainly wasn't carrying anybody. But here's the encouraging part. In September, he bounced back and posted an ERA that actually reflected what you'd hope for from an ace. You always want to see a pitcher finish strong rather than fade, because it shows he's figuring out the league instead of the league figuring him out. So where were Libertore's struggles coming from? Thomas Galvan over at Redbird Rants did some excellent detective work and found that the main issue was right-handed hitters. And here's why that's a massive problem. Libertore is a left-handed pitcher, and there are simply more right-handed batters in baseball than left-handed ones. If you're a lefty who struggles against righties, you can't hide. It's not like being a righty who gets crushed by lefties, where you can sometimes manage it strategically. When you're a left-handed pitcher who can't get right-handed batters out, you're in trouble. The numbers tell the story. Against righties last season, Libertore allowed a .265 batting average, a .304 on-base percentage, and a .426 slugging percentage for a .730 OPS. 16 of his 19 home runs came off the bats of right-handed hitters. Now, a .730 OPS isn't catastrophic, but it's slightly above average for Major League Baseball, and that's not what you want to be consistently giving up if you're trying to be an ace. These numbers also reflect that roller coaster season, with him dominating righties at the beginning and end of the season, but getting absolutely torched in the middle of summer. But here's where things get really interesting, and this is the part that should have Cardinals fans genuinely excited. Matthew Liberatore knows he has a problem, and he's doing something about it. He's developing a secret weapon. Liberatore appeared on the Cardinal Territory podcast with Jim Hayes, and he dropped this little gem. There is a potential extra pitch in the works right now that I think can help me quite a bit against righties. I'll break it out in the spring this year, but I've been throwing it in bullpens this offseason so far, and I think it could really be a weapon for me. A weapon. Those are his words. This isn't just tinkering with mechanics or making minor adjustments. Liberatore is adding an entirely new pitch to his arsenal, specifically designed to neutralize right-handed hitters. That's exactly what you want to hear from a young pitcher who recognizes his weaknesses and is actively working to address them. Now, Liberatore smartly didn't reveal what the pitch is on the podcast. He's not about to give opposing teams a heads up on what to prepare for. They'll see it in spring training anyway, but why give them extra time to study and game plan? But Thomas Galvan has a pretty educated guess about what this mystery pitch might be, and honestly, it makes a ton of sense. Galvan thinks it's a sweeper, and here's why that's such a smart prediction. Liberatore already throws a slider and a curveball. A sweeper is essentially a hybrid pitch that sits right between those two. It's not as fast as a slider, but it's quicker than a curveball. It has more movement than a slider, but not quite as much as a curve. And here's the kicker. Several left-handed pitchers have recently added sweepers to their arsenals with outstanding results. Max Fried, one of the best lefties in baseball, throws a sweeper. Ranger Suarez developed one, and it helped elevate his game significantly. Even Clayton Kershaw, late in his Hall of Fame career, added a sweeper when the Dodgers front office was basically mandating that everyone develop one. And you know what? It worked. It gave Kershaw another weapon when his other pitches were starting to lose some effectiveness. If Liberatore can develop a quality sweeper and use it effectively against right-handed hitters, we might not be looking at a true number one ace in baseball. Let's be realistic about his stuff. It's good, not elite. He's not blowing guys away with triple-digit heat or getting 30% whiff rates. The strikeout numbers just aren't there for what a modern ace needs to be. But could he be a really solid number 2 or number 3 starter? Absolutely. Could he be someone the Cardinals feel confident about anchoring their rotation for years to come? That's entirely possible. The key is getting right-handed hitters out consistently.
If this new pitch, whether it's a sweeper or something else, can help him do that, then we're looking at a completely different pitcher. We're looking at someone who can give you quality innings, keep you in games, and be a reliable piece of a playoff rotation. That's valuable. That's something worth getting excited about. Cardinals fans, I want to hear from you. What do you think about Libertore's chances of taking that next step? Do you believe this new pitch can really make a difference? And for all you baseball nerds out there who love diving into the weeds, what do you think this mystery pitch actually is? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I genuinely want to know what you're thinking. Now, I don't usually spend a lot of time talking about other teams, especially division rivals. But when something significant happens in the National League Central, we need to address it. And the Milwaukee Brewers just did something absolutely wild. They traded away Freddie Peralta, who was arguably their best player and definitely their most valuable asset when you factor in his contract. Let that sink in for a second. Freddie Peralta, coming off a season where he posted a 5.5 WAR, a 2.70 ERA, a 17-6 record, 204 strikeouts over 176 innings, and a fifth-place finish in Cy Young voting. The Brewers looked at that production, looked at the fact that he was only making $8 million next year, and said, nah, we're good. Ship him to New York. This is classic Brewers. They've become the National League version of the Tampa Bay Rays, constantly developing talent and then trading it away before they have to pay market value. They refuse to give extensions to their star players, choosing instead to cash in on prospects and keep the pipeline flowing. It's frustrating to watch as a competitor, but you have to admit, they've been pretty successful with this strategy.
And the return they got for Peralta is actually pretty solid. They landed shortstop Jet Williams, who's the 30th best prospect in all of baseball and the Mets' 5th best prospect, along with Brandon Sproat. These are legitimate prospects who could make an impact. And knowing the Brewers' track record with player development, these guys will probably torture the Cardinals for the next decade. Get to know those names, Cardinals fans. Jet Williams and Brandon Sproat. You're going to be seeing them at American Family Field a lot over the next few years, and they're probably going to be annoyingly good because that's just how the Brewers operate. It's the devil magic that used to be our thing, but Milwaukee has somehow stolen the formula and possibly perfected it. The silver lining here is that the Brewers' rotation just got a little bit easier to handle. Yeah, they'll probably develop 3 more pitchers out of nowhere who will throw 98 miles per hour with a slider that breaks 3 feet, because that's what they do. We already have to deal with Tobias Myers for the foreseeable future, who came out of absolutely nowhere last season, but at least we won't have to face Freddie Peralta anymore, and that's something to celebrate. The Brewers are getting worse, at least in the short term, and as a Cardinals fan, you love to see it. They're still going to be competitive because they always are, but anytime a division rival loses a Cy Young candidate-level pitcher, you take that as a win. So here's where we stand, Cardinals Nation. The organization is bringing back legends to restore the culture and teach the next generation what it means to be a Cardinal. Matthew Liberatore is developing a secret weapon that could help him neutralize right-handed hitters and finally reach his potential. And the Brewers just made themselves a little bit more beatable by shipping Freddie Peralta to the Mets. Spring training is right around the corner, and there's actually reason for optimism. Will the Cardinals compete for a championship in 2025? Probably not. But are they building something with their young talent while reconnecting with their championship pedigree? Absolutely. Are there intriguing storylines to follow and reasons to stay engaged? You bet. This is Cardinals baseball, people. The story never stops. The tradition runs deep. And even in rebuilding years, there's always something worth paying attention to. If you made it this far, you're clearly a diehard Cardinals fan, and I appreciate you. Now here's what I need from you. Smash that like button if you're excited about seeing David Freese and Adam Wainwright at spring training. Drop a comment telling me what you think Matthew Liberatore's secret pitch is, and whether you believe it can actually make him a legitimate number 2 starter. And for the love of Stan Musial, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single update on your St. Louis Cardinals. We're covering your Redbirds every single day, bringing you the news, the analysis, the hot takes, and everything in between. This is more than just baseball coverage. This is a community of Cardinals fans who live and breathe this team through the highs and the lows. What did you think about the Freddie Peralta trade? Are you as pumped as I am about the legends returning to the organization? How much of a difference can one new pitch really make for Libertore? Let's talk about it in the comments. I read every single one, and I love hearing your perspectives. The Cardinals are making moves, building for the future, and honoring their past all at the same time. Spring training is going to be must-watch baseball, and I'll be here covering every development, every storyline, and every piece of news that matters to Cardinals Nation. Until next time, keep the faith, stay loyal to the birds on the bat, and remember, we've been through worse and we've always come back stronger. This is just another chapter in the incredible story of St. Louis Cardinals baseball. See you tomorrow with more Cardinals coverage. Now get in those comments,
hey everyone,
and let's talk
I'm working
baseball.
to hit 1,000 subscribers, and I need your help to get there. If you enjoy this content, please hit that subscribe button right now.